All right. You guys ready to get the show on the road? Sweet. Well, yeah, sure. We can clap. Yeah, great. Well, first of all, thank you all for joining us today. We have a lot of folks online, so thank you to you as well. We are very excited to be here at the very first and hopefully soon to be annual Staff Advisory Council Think Tank. My name is Ryan Dusing. I am the current president of the Staff Advisory Council. First things first, for those of you who may not be aware, I wanted to really quickly just try to catch you up on who the Staff Advisory Council is and what we do. Council is made up on the folks you see on the screen behind me. Now, I understand this is a little bit hard to read, so I will ask all of our council members with their fancy name tags to just stand up so folks can recognize you a little bit. Thank you. Council is made up of folks that you see up here who just stand up. We represent different areas of the university, divided by the area VP or executive. Now, this is, again, hard to read, but we will post this online. It is also on my park under Resources, Staff Advisory Council. But if you find the executive that leads your area, all of the folks that are listed below represent you. You are welcome to come to them for anything related to you, your job, or park that you think we may be able to help improve or make better. We are always listening. If you don't want to come directly to us, we also have a generic email address, staffadvisorycouncil@park.edu. Please don't hesitate to use it. Our primary goals are to help improve life at Park for staff and to help maintain a line of communication between all staff and the executive team. Council representatives serve 2-year terms, and our latest group took the reins this past summer. In the past, the council primarily focused on staff engagement with one another through events like the door decorating contests and all staff meet and greets. This was great. This gave us a really solid foundation and put us on a great path. Collectively, we thought maybe we can start to do something a little bit bigger. We are still focusing on staff engagement, but in addition, we want to start recognizing one another for our own positive contributions to the university and collectively becoming really positive contributors to all of our park communities. Now, I understand you may have not seen a lot of results from our current council yet, but a really good project manager I know once told me that the majority of any project is planning. It's that whole measure twice, cut once philosophy. Make sure you say that right or it has no point. And you may have noticed the book drive going on in the library. We are currently collecting books to start our own little library that's going to be at King Elementary School. We worked with HR to improve the performance review process, and I know most of you still don't like being reviewed, but the feedback we're getting is much more positive than it was last year, so we're on the right track. We have several folks working on larger initiatives directly with senior leadership. We are involved in reviewing the business school proposals. We are involved in reviewing and addressing pulse survey feedback. We are involved in moving the park house. We're also currently working on Take Your Child to Work Day, and I know back in October, you all really enjoyed those door decorating contests that we did, so we're gonna keep doing that as well. Today, we're here for a slightly different purpose. Big project that we're working on, ThinkTank. Why should the advisory council be the only one to come up with great ideas that help park? So we opened the door to all of you. We wanted to give staff an outlet to pitch their ideas for improving the quality of life for staff. We left that door wide open in hopes to hear anything and everything. Today, we're going to hear those pitches, and with any luck in the near future, you'll start to see some of these start coming to fruition. Just as a quick reminder, you don't need a formal setting like this to throw an idea at us. We're always listening. Now, without further ado, I want to go ahead and get the show on the road. I will ask you to hold any questions until the end. If we have enough time remaining, we'll do a little bit of a group Q&A. If we do not, just keep an eye on your inbox. We will make sure that any questions that need answers get to all of you. So here we go. I'll go ahead and turn the reins over to Kelsey, and we'll get started. Thanks.
All right, so our first presenters are currently snowed in, so we have a pre-recorded presentation for them. They're at FE Warren. This is Josie Jenkins, Campus Center Coach, and Claudia Martinez, Campus Center Director, presenting on wellness benefits for staff at ParkU.
Hi everyone, my name is Josie Jenkins and I'm the Campus Center Coach here at the FE Warren Campus Center.
Hi everyone, I'm Claudia Martinez. I'm the Campus Center Director here at FE Warren. Sorry not to come to you guys live, but we are experiencing inclement weather and we're having to close our campus down today. So bear with us with our technology as we present our proposal to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today we are going to present our idea for implementing wellness benefits for staff at Park University. The first phase we are proposing is providing standing desks for all employees who need or want them at Park U. This idea was derived from a personal want and seeing other staff in our education center utilizing them in their workspace. We decided we would invest in our own standing desks in readiness for the Push Moves Challenge. Aside from the known health benefits, we have personally found that being mobile in our workspace allows us to better serve our students and stay more focused on tasks at hand throughout our workday. Seeing our coworkers standing is a constant reminder of being stationary, and standing also reminds us to stay mobile on a regular basis. The American Cancer Society suggests sitting down for long periods of time a day can cause health risks similar to smoking. I know that personally I was sitting all day and spending an average of 10 hours a week commuting in my car, and it began to take a physical toll on my body. Now that I have the desk riser, I don't have to worry about how sitting at work could be negatively impacting my health.
When exploring our budget to purchase these desk risers, there was a challenge due to our lack of funds. Depending on the type and where you are shopping, the average cost for these risers ranges from $100 to $300 per riser. We are hoping if the desk risers are acquired by Park, we can find quality risers at a bulk rate. The desk risers were imperative to help kickstart our wellness intervention, and the benefits outweigh the cost. There is potential to impact any individuals across the Park system who is willing and able to stand at their workspace.
With the Push Moves Challenge ending, we brainstormed more ideas on how to prioritize our physical fitness. We've recognized that time is the biggest challenge, and managing fitness into a work-life balance is usually impossible. Fitness is always the first thing to be pushed aside. We've also recognized that accessibility, affordability, location, and motivation can be contributing factors to employees neglecting their physical health.
There is a lot of research that supports the idea that staffs are more productive in the workplace if implementing fitness into their everyday lives. We've asked ourselves, how could Park fairly implement a wellness benefit across the system? The answer that came to us was time. The idea behind resourcing time was derived from needing more hours during the week to make time for fitness. In addition to remaining mobile throughout the day, it is recommended that 30 minutes of moderate to intense exercise 3 times a week is also required to remaining physically fit. We have found that this is an area where people struggle and are falling short. We are estimating allocating 3 hours a week for employees to manage their physical fitness and travel to and from their workout locations will help fill this gap. In terms of feasibility, we know this can be implemented and managed effectively by researching how other staff in our education center utilize this benefit. It can be monitored fairly and appropriately. Employees in supervisory roles can be trained on how to allow their staff to correctly use this benefit. Thank you for considering our proposal, and let's work together to make Park U wellness a priority. Thank you.
All right, and hopefully they're online with us today, I believe, so hopefully you're staying warm out there. Our next presenter is Lisa Hussey, Student Success Coach here at Parkville, and she's presenting on employee volunteer time off.
Never been on a big stage before. Okay, is this the clicker? Okay, all right, guys. So we're going to talk about employee volunteer time off, also known as VTO. I'll just use that term. Okay, here we go. So first off, VTO is becoming a common perk that a lot of companies are offering their employees. Companies like Salesforce offers this benefit. And yeah, so, and then some benefits we're going to talk about adding VTO would be increases awareness of Park University in the community. So getting our name out there. This benefit also allows employees to network internally and externally in the community. This benefit inspires employees and increases empowerment. It's a great way to team build and increase morale, great way to build employee resumes, add more skills and volunteer experience to the resume. And overall helps Park University succeed and decreases turnover because it helps employees become happy and network. All right, so VTO, And then information from this slide I'm about to talk about came from the SHRM Society of Human Resource Management main website. So that's where a lot of this came from. But how it would work would be that Park University would allow full-time employees to take up to 7.3 hours per year of paid VTO. Employees must be in good standing regarding their performance at work to be able to use that. And the employee has the option of choosing their own organization to volunteer with the group or by themselves. They can volunteer by themselves. And then this is a quote from the SHRM website, so I didn't write it. But volunteer time must be requested in advance and with, when possible, should be regular and on set schedule to help with the coordination of other work-related responsibilities. Another quote from the SHRM website that I got was, volunteer time should not conflict with peak work schedule and other work-related responsibilities and create overtime. So when it's fall one's is starting, we can't volunteer during that time because it's too busy. And on this next slide, just some examples of where you could volunteer here in Kansas City and also around the country for our campus centers. So like Harvesters, Habitat for Humanity, Wayside Waves, If You Like Pets, United Way, Catholic Charities, Ronald McDonald House, or even just where you, organization that you feel that you like a lot and want to get involved in. So, because I completed my degree recently, I gotta add the references at the end so I don't get in trouble with the instructor. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Our next presenters are Danita Hodges, Alumni and Constituent Relations Coordinator, and Megan Rainey, Assistant Director of Career Development, and they are presenting on successful onboarding.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Like Kelsey said, Danita and I come from the University of Engagement. And the issue that we're kind of tackling today is the concept of onboarding. It's like Lisa just mentioned, retention should be something that people are paying attention to. A lot of companies are putting effort and funds into obtaining talent, but not so much on retaining it. And so we're really kind of focusing on that crucial 6 to 12 month period that is oftentimes neglected. The quote that we're using here is employees and new employees especially are often felt like they're left to sink or swim if we're not, properly taking care of them. So the idea came from something that our department, I feel like, does successfully, and that's where Danita will come in and saying that we have a streamlined process for our new employees, and we'd like to share that with everybody.
This is the sample form that we would suggest. We have 2 forms we're going to show you today that would be available through the HR area of my part. This one is our onboarding, and the first thing is for the supervisor to whip this out, announce the new hire to the department, and assign all these jobs to different people in the department so that everyone is touching and getting to know, not physical touching, the new employee. And there's things to do before the employee comes, the first day, the first week, the first month, and then continuing. And these are all Word docs, how they could be adjusted for any department. It goes through all the different setups and preparations to make the new employee as successful as possible. And one of the assignments is to do the setup. You want to go to the next slide? The new employee setup. The first thing the person who's assigned to this would do is to call them and welcome them to the department and just get some basic information and set up a time for them to come in and get all the forms signed, the ITS form, the procurement card form, whatever that employee is going to need that we have to have them sign for. That way you are free to start ordering and getting everything in order for them. So it lists basic things, the equipment they're going to need, their name badges, business cards, as you get the information, their new email addresses and things like that. So you can just get everything ready for them and have their desk clean, stocked, and ready for them to go, how they can hit the ground running. And meetings set up, how they know who their peers are, what those peers do, and can get more successful quicker instead of asking questions. So by the time they come, the mailroom knows where their mail goes. They can use the multifunctional devices in your department. And before they even get there, they've been touched 5 times by Park University. The HR's letter, your welcome phone call, a card signed by all the staff. Welcome to our team. A packet, a welcome packet with simple things, what time the office hours are, if you have a dress down day, just where to park, all that kind of thing. And then our buddy calls them the night before, the evening before their first day, and welcomes them and asks them if they have any questions, what they're going to do for lunch the next day. Usually the supervisor will take them to lunch the first day and just answer any questions. And that way they have a good firm foundation to start their new job.
And so we wanted to kind of put this in really simple terms. We understand that onboarding goes beyond a checklist. It's the concept that should be, 3, 6, 12 months out, just so the employee feels truly engaged. But what this can do is kind of eliminate the noise and take care of those pretty basic physiological needs if we're referring to the hierarchy of needs here, so that that part is streamlined and that the employee doesn't have to worry about these simple tasks and issues before they even get started. And so they can truly build that connection on Park really easily. As Danita said, our proposal is pretty simple with implementing. We're just adding these resources to My Park under the HR resources tab, so every department has access to them and then can amend them appropriately. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Now at this time, I'm going to welcome Ryan back to the stage for a presentation on internal hiring pool.
I'm back. That was quick. We're about halfway through. I was told you guys may need a joke, so save your applause until you hear the joke, Cheshire. What do you get when you cross a fish and an elephant? Swimming trunks. I just became a dad, so I'm working on the dad jokes. Bear with me. So I've kind of organized this in a what, so what, now what format. So here's what we're going to be talking about today. Pulse survey results showed a clear commitment to Park and to our students, but they also showed, at least what I perceive to be, a high number of people considering employment elsewhere. In other words, you're really committed to the institution and our values, but not necessarily committed to your own personal employment. So what? We employ talented people who are drinking that Park Kool-Aid and buying into our mission. I think we should put a little effort into keeping them here. So now what? I propose the creation and adoption of an internal staff hiring and talent pool to promote internal hiring, transfers to other departments, and promotions. By better equipping our existing staff to be future Park leaders, we preserve that committed workforce, we increase staff satisfaction, and we provide better professional development for everybody. Have you look at a couple numbers with me? Again, from those Pulse survey results, 30% of you agreed that our reputation is one of the 3 greatest strengths that Park must preserve to sustain excellence. 43% of you agreed that teamwork is in that top 3, and 70%, far and away the majority of you, agreed that our commitment to serving students is one of our greatest strengths. And these are not things that we need to work on. These are things we're doing well today. So I think that these are stats to really be proud of. These are great things. Now on the flip side, around 3 out of 10 of you are thinking about working somewhere else. And to be fair, this is a big improvement of what we've seen in the past. I think that's probably right on par with the industry standard, but that doesn't mean we can't do it better. We have started building the momentum in the right direction, and I just want to keep it going that way. So I do have to make a few assumptions, and I need to be clear that I am not a scientist. I am not a statistician, and you will see in a second, I'm definitely not a physicist. I am just an observer throwing an idea out. But I have to ask myself, and I have to ask all of you, who do you think cares most about Park's success? Who knows more about Park than anyone? And who really has a vested interest in your personal career growth? I think the answer is obvious, but I think it's all of you. You do. Personally, I also have to conclude that you guys really want to be here. And more importantly, Park really wants you to be here. We've all been a victim of bad customer service. You go to the restaurant and the person doesn't even care if you got what you ordered and doesn't care if you're happy. That person's not bought into where they work. You all are, and that's a great thing to preserve. So what? So who really cares? People come, people go. Park's a good business. We have good morals. We have good values. If people leave, we'll just replace them and give them some more of that Park Kool-Aid. That is definitely one way to think about it. But I think the other is, what does it cost to replace that employee? And I'm not just talking financial. What's it do to morale? How do we really know that everybody's going to drink this Kool-Aid I keep talking about? In short, it costs more than you would think, and it's time consuming. Seeing staff leave hurts morale, and let's be totally honest, we don't know if everybody's going to keep buying into what we're selling. So now what? Here's my pitch. I think a super smart physicist probably at some point said, maintaining momentum is easier than creating momentum. I can't prove that, but I have a hunch. We have great staff here who are fully bought in, talented, and who are willing to grow. So let's embrace that. Every exceptional leader you have ever worked with was at some point a future leader. Somebody had to take a chance on them, their skill set, and develop it. I think we should start looking to find our own future leaders, grow those skill sets, develop those talents, and let them start to become the future leaders of Park. Here's kind of what I think the process would look like, and please understand, the people hiring our new leaders are the people who we are really going to need help with to build this out. Ultimately, we need to build this for what they are looking for. They're doing the hiring. But here's a suggestion, and FYI, kind of piggyback on Lisa, I stole this all from SHRM, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but they do. First thing we need to do is review our current strategies, identify the necessary competencies to bring them to fruition. Do we need critical thinkers? Do we need customer service agents? Do we need innovation? Then we need to start assessing our current skill sets and the skill gaps. What are we really good at? What are we not so good at? What do we need future leaders to be good at? From there, we create a process that really develops and hones those traits and skills. It can be anything, so long as it really works towards those traits that we've all agreed are paramount to the success of Park. I'm thinking something a little more intense than Pirates Rising, but definitely not quite an NBA. I think we'll find some middle ground somewhere in the middle. And ideally, we start looking for ability instead of experience. Experience is great, but by definition, experience is what you've done. Ability is what you are capable of doing in the future. I think there's a lot of emphasis that needs to be placed there. From there, we allow staff to start working on this process, complete it. I think it should be incredibly inclusive. You never know where a future leader is going to come from. When they finish, they're going to throw their name in the hat, and any hiring manager who posts a new position or who has an open position should start reviewing that pool regardless of who's actually applied. Someone in financial aid may not think they have any business working over an advancement. Nathan may look at that little card in the pool and say, no, you absolutely belong here. I don't think there's any reason for us to miss out on an opportunity just because we don't think we may fit. From there, we monitor, we evaluate, and we adjust. Nothing is perfect. We revise, we correct, and we keep improving on an ongoing basis. So in a nutshell, I think we need to agree on what makes a great leader. We need to create ways to develop those traits and skill sets, and then we start home growing our own future Park leaders. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan. Our next presenter is Kelly Clevenger, Online Services Administrator, presenting on Office Locator.
Hello. So, have you ever wanted to get out of your office and you think, I will walk over and say hello to a colleague. Where's their office located? So, I have thought that because, as most of you know, I walk a lot. So, I'm out on campus. And there are times where in my previous position, I've scheduled a meeting and someone from off campus is coming, not to our office, but to another office in another building. And I can't give them an office number because I don't know where to find it. And so I felt like this. So I looked, I've sent work studies to deliver things and say, oh, well, you know, the office is on the second floor of her house. Just go over there and you'll find it. And there's nowhere that I could find where we have office locations for staff. College of Management, we have our own faculty and staff spreadsheet, as I'm sure other areas have theirs, but nowhere that I can look up another area. And I've talked with campus safety. They don't have that information. Facilities doesn't have the information at hand to give to us to look at. So I am proposing that we create a directory, and perhaps it would be on My Park. That way only Park employees would be able to have that access. It wouldn't be in your email signature line to go out in the public. And on a provisioning ticket, when a new employee is hired, there is a space to put department, campus, building, room. So the information could be drawn from that. If you change locations, positions at Park, you update through a provisioning ticket. So it is all right there together from that. I understand that to get it started, it would take some gathering, which I don't mind working on that and contacting areas and getting their information. But I think even in this day and age, if there was an emergency, it would be nice to know where people are located. So that is my think tank idea.
Thank you, Kelly. Our next presentation is on computers for staff at discount with senior web developer and webmaster Wade Tripp.
Hi there. First off, I like computers. And right now, the idea is that we can do a mass purchase for computers. The idea is that if we get all of our money together, we can get a good discount. I've already gotten with CDW, and right now I'm proposing we start talking with them and see what sort of discount we could get. First off, I'm going to send out a survey if this gets approved, but it's saying, hey, let's get a cheap Chromebook. That way you can give it to kids, take it somewhere, lose it if you have to and not worry too much about it. Or if you want to compete against our new esports team, a very nice computer, also expensive, but that's why we get a discount. The idea is that we can help make things easier and cheaper for computers. Also, I know some people will hate it, but you can also use it from home. Because, hey, if someone says, Ryan, we got someone did a oopsie in the bathroom and not threw up. This way, rather than doing a sick day, having to do emergencies, you can come and do everything from home, log into Citrix, and just do your day as approved by your manager from home for the various emergencies. That way you don't miss important meetings, can do it through Zoom and everything else. This is just an idea to try and get nice computers into the staff's homes. Also, if you have young kids who, like a newborn, we can get ready for her to play on the Chromebook and get things going to be a future computer scientist, or other things to play Fortnite and try and get the scholarship at esports. It's an idea to start asking questions, see what people want, and hopefully get a very good deal and save money. Win for everyone. Thank you.
Hello.
All right, so our next presenter has two ideas here for Think Tank today. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us, so we've pre-recorded it. This is Zach Gerard, Project Manager IT with a 90-day challenge and leadership.
Hello, my name is James Zach Gerard. I prefer to go by Zach. And today, sadly, I'm out of town, but I thought I'd go on ahead and record this for everyone. And today I'd like to present a few think tank ideas that I've got. The first idea that I'd like to present is what I'm calling a 90-day innovation challenge. So the problem I found is that there's currently no formal innovation training. And I know in our strategic plan, one of our core pillars is to create a culture of innovation. And I feel overall that some people are confused about what is innovation and where do I start and how can I be innovative in what I do. And so again, a lot of people are not sure really where to start because there's no formal training for how to do that. So what I'm proposing is a 90-day program that'd be broken up into 3 30-day increments. So in the first increment, we would have a team of 5 to 7 staff members, and they would come together, and the executive staff would give them a set of business problems that they have, and the team would pick one business problem to focus on. And once they did that, they would identify any skill gaps that they have, so skills they would need to learn to solve the problem. And over the first 30 days, they would fill the skill gaps. So each team member would commit to learning one skill that could help them be able to solve the business problem. And then they would create a plan for a prototype of a potential solution. And then once the first 30 days are up, the plan would be presented to the Staff Advisory Council. And if it's approved, then they would get a little bit of funding to build out a prototype during the second 30 days. And then at the end of that, they would present it to the Staff Advisory Council, get feedback, and then spend the last 30 days improving their prototype. And then there would be a follow-up meeting 60 to 90 days after the challenge, just to see how the challenge affected them and then if it worked. So if the staff that went through it felt more innovative. So the process for this, throughout each of the 3 30-day cycles, there would be a kickoff meeting, a check-in halfway, and at the end, a presentation. And again, just to clarify, so the first 30 days would be identifying the business problem, identifying skill gaps that would need to be filled, and then learning those skills over the first 30 days, and then getting a plan together for how to solve the business problem. The next 30 days would be building out the plan and creating a prototype, and then the last 30 days would be improving the prototype. And then there would be a follow-up meeting 60 to 90 days after. My proposal is that we run a pilot with one group, and this would be made up of 5 to 7 staff members, and also 2 innovation mentors who would facilitate the process and help guide and mentor the team throughout it. And the budget for this, so this funding would be used for the prototype development, and the prototype would have to be approved by the Staff Advisory Council before the team would get the funding. And so the ask is $200. And this is just so the team could build out a small prototype to solve a business problem, and then also go through the process of innovation. So going from identifying a business problem to creating a solution and then improving it. And some of the long-term benefits from this, the first one would be that there'd be formal innovation training, and this could be repeatable. So this could happen once a year or twice a year, or as often as people feel it needs to happen. This could also improve staff engagement and get people feeling that they're more empowered. And then the third piece is that this can help develop innovation champions in each department. And the second idea I would like to present is department team building training. So the problem that I had identified is that currently there's no internal department team building training. And the problem is this leads to outsourcing training, and then there's no shared team building language across the organization. So the program I'm proposing would consist of 3 parts, and it would take half a workday, so 3.75 hours. And so the first part would be communication. So we would look at oral and nonverbal communication, a little bit of best practices, and then apply that through a game. And the first game would be Minefield. So we'd have each participant would be blindfolded, and then people would have to guide them through a minefield. And it's not a real minefield, so people aren't getting blown up. It's a minefield using office supplies. The second part would be emotional intelligence, so learning how to work with people better. And the participants would play the My Colored Hat games. They'd get different hat colors that would represent emotions, and they would discuss the emotions and then see if someone has a bad emotion, how to move that toward a positive one. And then the third part would be learning about strategies. There would be a brief TED Talk that everybody would watch on creating a vision and strategy, and then everybody would get construction paper and markers and draw out their future, and then share that with everyone, and then pull that back together to discuss how that applies to the vision of where the department's going in the future. And then there'd be a follow-up meeting 60 to 90 days after the training. And again, this would be a half-day workshop, so 3.75 hours. Any department could go through this training, and there would be 2 facilitators, and they would oversee the training process and guide the department staff throughout it. The proposed budget for this training will cover all the materials that are required, and the total ask is $140, which includes the materials for an entire department to go through the training. And I came up with that by looking up the cost of the materials on Walmart's website. So for the communication exercise to play Minefield, the participants need blindfolds, rope, and office supplies to act as mines. For the emotional intelligence game, participants would need different colored hats, different colored construction paper to write out different emotions, and markers. And for the strategy activity, participants need large construction paper, painter's tape if they're going to post their creation on a wall, and markers. Some of the long-term benefits that would come out of this would include formal team building training. So if I'm a leader of a department, I could pick up this curriculum, I could customize it a little bit toward my department's needs, and then we could go and do a half-day training on it. This can also help create a common team building language throughout the organization and help increase communication within departments. And then the third part is that the people within departments will have a better understanding of what roles and responsibilities they each have within the department, and how all those roles and responsibilities create the team that they are. I want to thank everyone for their time today and for this opportunity to be able to present these ideas. I would like to recognize the Staff Advisory Council for sponsoring this event, and I hope that they'll consider my ideas. And finally, I'd like to recognize a few people who inspired me to do this challenge and that gave me some insights or ideas that helped me out throughout this process. The people I'd like to recognize include Dave Whitaker, James Nelson, Sue Wilcox, Stephen Estabrook, Dr. Roger Dusing, and Dr. Susan Kine. Again, thank you for your time, and I hope everyone has a great rest of the work week.
Right. All are wonderful. Yes. Time for questions. If you have a question for our presenters, we're all ears.
And if we want to have the presenters come up and stand along, just in case we have questions for you. We did have one online, and it's for Wade. There were some questions about if there were other computers, such as tablets, that would be available.
All right, about tablets. Yeah, we definitely could do it. One of the things is to do a survey to see what people want. I'm a little bit against tablets personally, but that's mainly because I'm afraid of the screen getting scratched. But tablets definitely could be due. And if people want stuff like an iPhone or an iPad, nerds is just cringing at that. We'll go that way. The idea is that we need to hear what people want, and then we'll do our best to get it. I hate to say, I did a very biased opinion of what I thought people need. I need a nice computer to play games on, but it depends on what the various people respond with. And if you want tablets, I've got a name and I'm going to start hunting down deals for tablets.
Any other questions for our presenters? Got one in the back. Rachel's coming.
Thank you. So if anyone doesn't know, I'm Annalie. I work in university engagement until Monday. Anyway, in regards to Kelly's idea with relation to the notifying where everyone is on campus, something that was brought up, now this is, everyone loves the word ad astra. I realize that, but with the rollover, the potential of that system of having every office space, meeting room, classroom, there is that potential. There is the ability to put into the system not only room numbers, but you can also label the rooms. So for example, with the facilities location, you could put on it not only the location, but the department that operates out of that office. And that would be something that would be extremely beneficial, I think, for a lot of parties involved. In regards to the ad astra, the potential for that as well in regards to transitioning to a form version. So when people are looking at different room layouts, you can have a visual room layout available where you can move your resources onto the map so that everyone knows what you want. So facilities doesn't have to guess where all the resources need to be placed in that room. Where that ends up going, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that Kelly raises a great point, and I think that's something that from a safety perspective is extremely important. The fact that we do have people officing out of a mine and we have classes down there as well, that would be, I think, extremely important to take consideration of. Thank you.
Rachel's on her way.
So, is there, I'm trying to, other campuses I've worked at, we just had it in our profile, and it was your office number is, you know, and so it wasn't a big deal at other campuses I've been at. Is there just a thought to add as an option to your, you know, tagline on your email where your office is? I mean, it doesn't seem like a big deal to me, but maybe I'm overlooking something.
I don't know that it is a big deal, but in this day and age, sometimes I think it could be for people outside of Park. So that's why I had suggested that it be on my Park. So I think it's, for some people it's personal, and if you want to share where your office space is, then you can share it, you know, outside of Park. But my thoughts were that it was for, and I'd also like to say, I'd like, we have down in online where I'm at now, we do have a listing of the campus centers with the directors and academic directors and what region they're in and campus center. And I think that should be included as well for the entire Park family.
And I'm going to sneak in some stuff. We can set up, I believe in Astra, I don't know how tight, and in people at Perk, we can have restricted information where people at Perk, you log in and you can see more information, and we could have room numbers and other things tightly organized that way.
I've got some questions. So about the contact information, would it just be as simple as adding your office or your room number to your link contact? So when you pull up your contact card, you would just see what room number you're in. I don't know if that's as simple as, instead of adding it through, because I mean, I think everyone has Outlook. And so if we just had it on your contact card where your phone number and your email address were, it's not accessible to the student, but anyone internally can look that up in Outlook. Just an idea.
I think so, but I'm not going to be the person to answer it. We could do that. Also, another thing is some people don't know when someone says her house, particularly if they're new, where that is and what office, so.
And you're right. I mean, on the IM, it does have a place. I looked at it that says office, mine said Parkville. So wherever that gets populated, whoever populates that, I believe it could go in there too. So.
It's questions for Ryan. So from your presentation, am I to understand that the Park University doesn't have in its strategic plan any emphasis on hiring internal candidates?
I think that's probably a little bit of a stretch. I think obviously you always want to promote growth within. I think my idea is more so just to really put more emphasis into it. But I can't really speak for senior leadership, but that would just be my interpretation. I don't think there's any push to not hire within. You just want to shoot a little steroids into it. What else? Got one in the, oh, uh-oh.
Well, since you couldn't speak for senior management, since we're here, I thought I would share. One of the 4 pillars of your plan is a sustainable and thriving culture. And we believe that's only possible to be sustainable and thriving if it's one that's built off of a long-term relationship between our faculty, staff, and our students. And so we very much want to see internal advancement. And HR has worked carefully to see to it that we announce internally first, and we try to find more opportunities. But our long-term future is found in our staff, and our long-term success is going to come from more internal placement. And even within the senior management team, our most recent senior management hire was an internal. Our provost, our chief of staff was internal. And so we've worked really hard to try to find ways to advance people within the organization. But that, I think what you've raised as a question is a good one, is how can we do better? It's not that we are perfect, but we share that desire. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
It was said much better than I could have, so thank you.
Test, test. Oh, there we go. Words. This is actually a question for Wade, which is coming from the technical support here. So I have to ask, who will be servicing and supporting these laptops or tablets or whichever that are purchased?
Okay. Well, first off, because the staff member would buy it, they'd own it, and they'd be responsible for it. Hate to say, if you have your kid jump up and down on it, or if your kid accidentally locked it out for 40 years, it did happen. Someone locked out an iPad for 37 years before it could be reset. It has to be their own individual users. The ITS probably will try and do simple help, provide stuff like, here's how you download Office 365. We probably could do general generic advice of, have you tried rebooting it? But we probably can't do the full tech support, 365, everything fixed. It would most likely come with a standard warranty from CDW, Dell, or whoever, and they would be responsible for servicing it with their warranty. But because it's also your computer, we can't dictate how you want to use it. So if you want to put games on it, you're willing to. If you want to surf inappropriate stuff, you can, because it is not going to be a per computer. It's going to be yours, and you can use it however you'd like.
Thank you for answering my question, Wade.
I think we got one from our online folks here.
I want to make sure that we acknowledge this question, although Zach's not here, so he won't be able to answer it. We'll have to get back to you on it. But we had a question about team building training. Is there any way for campus centers to engage with the rest of the community, especially in a one-person campus center? So we will get with Zach and get an answer out for that. Shane Smead also said, thanks everyone who presented today, and that he appreciates the dedication.
Awesome. Any other questions for now? Got one.
This one's for Wade. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. Are these computers like, is it refurbished or whatever? Like their park used to own them?
No.
Or, okay.
These would be completely new, straight from the factory computers. So we have in the past had some selling of old computers. I don't think we're going to do that at the moment because if there's a computer, we've got a need for it someplace. And we don't, we can't do refurbished because we use them till the end of the lifespan, of which we get the most that we can out from them. If we do sell them, we'll definitely make an announcement because I know how much people like to have their old work computers, and they take them and they may do something like hit them with a sledgehammer later or use them at home. We'll let, if that occurs, we'll let people know and we'll notify people if we are doing it. At the moment, I think we've got a lot of computers and not a lot of computer needs and not a lot of computers. And we want to swap them out.
Sorry, full of questions. So is there a minimum requirement on the order? How have you worked that out with, you said CDW?
Okay, it's going to be with CDW, and I'm going to say if we've got one requirement, one order, we probably won't get much of a discount. We'll have to actually talk and see what people want. I believe if we say we're going to order 1,000 Chromebooks, they're definitely going to give us a big discount. But if we say we're only going to order 2 esports fancy laptops, we won't get much of a discount. And I want to say, with the survey, we can come and start negotiating a whole lot better.
Okay, so the prices that you put on there are just estimates of what you think we could get it down to?
That's our estimate. But once I know what people want, we'll get a much better deal.
Thank you.
You guys got to make Rachel run around more than that.
Need my steps, guys. Come on.
Anything else? Anything from our online folks? Nothing? All right. Well, big thank you from all of us for joining us today. Special thank you to all of our participants and our presenters. Saw a lot of great ideas. It's always exciting to see folks care about park. I'm even more excited to see what of these gets put into action. Quick personal thank you from me to everybody who put this presentation together. Kelsey, Wade, Kathy, Sarah, Carrie, Rachel, and Bob. Could not have done this without you guys. Thank you so much. Big thank you to our AV guys. This was all way above my head. So Michael and Keith, thank you guys. We're going to try and post the presentation online so folks who couldn't join us today can still see it. We're also going to be soliciting feedback from everyone who's seen these. Just want to hear your thoughts. What did you like the best? What are the questions do you have? And we'll make sure that that information gets out to everybody. So just keep an eye on your inbox. Lastly, we did randomly select a winner from our participants for an Amazon gift card. Congratulations, Miss Lisa Hussey. Make sure you see me before you leave. But that's all we've got. Thank you guys so much. We look forward to talking to you again.